So guys, let's start by introducing yourselves and what it is, very briefly, what it is that that brings you to crypto and AI.
Okay, so I'm Daniel Luca, a long-time developer, security auditor in Ethereum, founder. Now I'm working with Eden Block, where I'm a technical partner, and we invest in Decentralized AI, which is AI and blockchain.
Hi, I'm Gabi. I'm in the space from 2012, so I'm basically older than Ethereum. I was involved in local currency project back in my hometown in Yash. I built a black box tool for aviation. What else? Metrology, creating digital calibration certificates on blockchain. And for the last year and a half, I've been involved into this thing called crypto forensic investigations. So yeah, I'm here to discuss how can AI have an impact on this. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Anna. I'm creative director at AI TV. We're building an agentic autonomous media network. So live streaming agents that have their own live streaming shows. And the first time, I used to be a political teenage activist, and it made me really depressed because the world was so shit. And in 2016, I read the Bitcoin white paper, and I was like, okay, seems to be a solution, so here I am.
Hey, I'm Titus, and I built a company with agentic AI before the term even existed. We were using it to essentially curate deals for small business future owners. And then I've been in crypto since 2017. I now run go-to-market for Civic, where we're building tools for people to help bring authentication and authorization to agentic AI with also crypto rails. So embedded wallets, auth, all that stuff. So happy to be here.
Well, that sounds like a great panel to talk about AI and crypto, and I'm probably the least knowledgeable about AI because we are looking into it, but still from theoretical perspective, because we're in payments and we think that AI agents are going to play a big role there, but it's still very, very early days. So yeah, keen to get going. So we'll start with the general one. So why Ethereum? How can Ethereum contribute to solving challenges around AI? And like, I would invite each one of you guys to talk about areas which you feel more comfortable about, either whether it be like trust or identity or improving security, privacy. So yeah, let's start with you since you have the mic.
Yeah, happy to go first. I think Ethereum has three interesting things going for it. One, it's been around the block a few times. So it has a lot of infrastructure built in. It has fast transactions, at least on like L2s. I think that's a great place to like do microtransactions for agents like that create proofs. The second thing, it has an attestation service that can help build identity for agents around wallets per se with specific like traits for that particular agent. And then also has the option of privacy with ZK. So I think those three play to its advantage. Also, it's kind of the original distributed computer, so it can be used for compute, I think, as well. I just haven't seen any agentic AI computes on Ethereum yet.
I think Ethereum is just the OG of everything. And when it comes to agents who are going to represent people, for example, economically on a chain, the trust is a big issue. I went to a panel in a token where a guy built an agent who is doing trades for you, and he's been doing this basically like as his main product. And at the end of his panel, he said, "Don't trust the agents with your money at this moment." So I think it is very necessary that as like one of the first chains that there will be adoption of agents.
Yeah, I agree with Titus, as everybody else. Ethereum is the oldest, has the biggest community, and also from my point of view as a forensic investigator, most of the hacks used to happen, in the Ethereum block. So we have more experience in detecting and preventing hacks to happen. So the more we build on top of Ethereum AI agents that could detect potential hacks, basically we can, in theory, replicate on most EVMs.
For me, blockchain, and not just Ethereum, is a very, very useful tool to coordinate collection, sharing, and incentivization of data, compute, and it can also be used to store all of that data. So blockchain in general is a extremely useful tool for AI companies because they can coordinate multiple actors, multiple people to work together and provide the necessary things for either building AI models, running them, or even having AI agents running in the wild.
Cool. Yeah, I think agents was the word that was mostly used throughout the answer. So let's focus a bit more on the agents. So how do you guys think that those AI-driven autonomous agents can change actual user interactions with Ethereum blockchain and applications? And we don't have to stick to any particular order, so whoever feels they've got something to say, just grab the mic.
So for me, AI agents need some kind of wallet and autonomy. Like, let's say that we kind of solved the trust issue, and now we can let them be a lot more autonomous. So they should be able to execute transactions. So that means that having access to a wallet, they can do actions that actually impact other systems or markets or other people. They also have a way to store data and assets. So the agents being very strongly connected to a blockchain gives them a place to live on, but also things to move around.
I still remember back in the days when we put the trust in the tech. Yeah. So imagine if anybody could have like their own compliance officer, like an AI agent that could analyze in a split of a second a project or a protocol or a token, so on and so forth. And basically, this is the idea around it, that you can build your own compliance officers or maybe your guardian angels around it with this scope to protect you in the future.
While we're on it, how soon do you think we would be able to substitute our chief compliance officer with an AI agent, if ever?
I think they're scared right now. Honestly,
they probably are. Yeah. So let's say a junior compliance analyst, not the chief risk officer, because I would get in trouble getting back. But
I reckon, I don't know, a year and a half maybe. Yeah. Because a few years back, when DALL-E was built, we were saying like, it would take at least 10 years. Well, now, when we're seeing happening, maybe a year, maybe it could be like 8 months, but yeah.
That's,
you are very trusting.
I would be scared now if our chief compliance officer heard this. Yeah. And you actually think, like all those hallucinations and possible mistakes, like that error ratio would be lower than for humans, or humans would still need to somehow validate the results?
I guess, some sort of validation will still be, need to be implemented somehow, like an overview of the AI agent. But things are really happening with a fast pace.
If you really want to go that route, you can have a swarm of agents that they verify each other. So you can take this further if you want. And you have some AI agents, for example, like Perplexity, which I use a lot, and it kind of replaces Google because it can do searches and it can eat up a lot of data and give me just what I need. And it's data that exists on the internet right now, compared to OpenAI or Gemini that has data from when the last time they were trained on.
Quick note on that. Actually, GPT can do deep research for you now online directly, and same for Claude. So like I think that barrier has been broken as well. And then Gemini can do it too. So it's like kind of the world is moving super fast from that perspective. Yeah, and on the kind of your question around how does AI, agentic AI, improve kind of the experience with Ethereum? I mean, we were talking just earlier about user experience, right, on a previous session, and I think agentic AI can significantly reduce the barrier of entry into the crypto space by kind of removing some of the friction around what is the information you have to learn, what are some of the terms that you have to understand. Like, explain it to me like I'm 5. Just kind of walk me through, like, what do I need to know to use this project? Onboard me to this new game, onboard me to this new ecosystem. This can all be done through agentic means, and if you have a proper authentication system in place, you have a wallet system in place that's secure, you ensure kind of a smooth transition from, hey, I'm interacting with this chat tool, but now I'm actually interacting with the dApp, with the smart contract directly. And I think that's where the secret sauce will lie with agentic AI in Web3.
You guys are very trusting towards agents. I don't know. I feel like it's a bias, to be honest. I feel like it's still very, like the issues of trust and the issues of reliability with an agent, even what you just proposed is it's not a real solution to create real safety. And we, like, when we talk about, okay, we can like make the user experience much better, and like the future vision, you know, of if you talk with like some DeFi people, they will tell you like, okay, 98% of future on-chain transactions will be which will be done by executed by AI agents rather than humans, and we just basically talk with the agent what we want. But I feel like the security issues are like, no one came up with like the one solution yet that actually works. So I don't think like 1 year. 1 year, no. Yeah.
Daniel, did you have anything to add?
I've seen this in the wild. You have wallets that kind of try to translate the execution you're about to confirm into English. So they tell you, oh, you're going to do this, and you're going to move these tokens from your wallet, and then you're going to get this back. And that there's no agent there. It just kind of translates the execution into English, and that helps people. Regarding the having a swarm of agents that do lots of things for you, if you want to be safe, like so I've been in security for a long time, and one thing that people would say, a secure system is the one that's turned off. If you want to be secure, just don't use anything. But in practice, you will see more and more people who trust more autonomous systems, and you kind of have to decide, do you want to be there, or are you going to be left behind, or do you just move on to the next thing?
It's good to see that we have quite different viewpoints, because if everyone would agree on everything, it would be a boring discussion. So since we talked about trust and security, can you think of any ethical considerations of combining AI and blockchain and Ethereum specifically, like kind of developing on the earlier thoughts?
I can start. So basically, at AITV, like we're building like this autonomous media network. So the idea is that the agents, they will gather, like they can do research, they can gather the information, and then put together some hypothesis and create shows, create like articles and content, and give you like the source information. And something that in the beginning, when we started the project, we wanted to focus much more on like educational content and also on like trading content, for example. But then from like a moral perspective, we realized really quickly that, okay, no matter what kind of information we plug into the agent, where we give them access to, there is some sort of bias, and also it's limited somehow. So we would have to rely, like we would have to, for example, like plug in all of Twitter if we wanted to use that as an original source. And we decided then, okay, maybe for now, until like there are other companies that can help us with like cleaner data, we should like move away slightly first from this ideal, because it's really hard to reach.
Yeah, regarding the investigation thing, back in the days it was like almost a month and a half to 2 months to create like a shitcoin or to fork something. You need to know like C++, you need to know to be like a DevOps or something like that to create dependencies, to configure tokens, so on and so forth. Now, with a click of a button, you can create the whole infrastructure, the whole smart contract, the whole social engineering campaign or phishing attack. It's so much easier for attackers or terrorists to create like bad campaigns. So regarding the ethics, yeah, I think we should, I don't know, oversee how the tech is used by the, or maybe, I don't know, enforce something that only the good guys could use it. Although I know that you can use tech to good things and bad things. But yeah, it's so much, it's crazy when you see that hacks happening like in 4 in a day or something like that. And I'm not talking about easy, I'm talking about complex attacks. So yeah, regarding the...
I thought I would have nothing to say on this, but I strongly oppose your point. Who's going to decide who's good and bad? So you have that type of question, like terrorism. Like, how do you find terrorism then? There's all like very murky questions, murky types of answers. It's very difficult to answer that. The truth is, we have these extremely good tools out in the wild, and they're going to exist. I use external systems, but also run my own models. I want my own models not to be truncated and stupid and limited. For example, if you want to use an NLM and write a story, and in your story you have a character who has to steal something from another person, or you want to create like a very interesting crime scene, the LLM will say, "Oh no, I'm sorry, I cannot help you with that."
Grok will help you with that.
Grok will help you. I have some models that can help
DeepSeek
you.
will help you with that. Mistral will help you with that.
Yeah, but not...
OpenAI won't.
Yes, so some companies are trying to put too many guardrails on this, and the models become very biased. The truth is, they decide what's wrong and what's not wrong. So it's very difficult to start putting limitations. Truth is, it's very difficult. But the tools are there and they're very powerful. And with any powerful tool, you're going to have good actors and bad actors.
With great power comes great responsibility.
Exactly.
I want to come at it from a different angle. I think the most dangerous thing that can happen with agentic AI on Ethereum-like chains, like EVMs in general, is like a very powerful correlation doxing attacks. Like you find like somebody's assets, correlate them with their like Web2 presence, correlate them with their real presence in a way that's against their will. That's something I think that's to be discussed, whether like we want to have agents like that scouring the chains. And I think right now there's already a few companies working on stuff like that. I question whether that's something we want in this ecosystem.
Do you have something else? Right, sure.
I can just, okay. So I would say like at the current development stage that we are with agents, we're still at like a playground level, and I wouldn't give more trust, and so I wouldn't put more seriousness to it than that, because even with like Ethereum back then, like way back, there was this hack, and then there was the fork where Ethereum Classic came out of it. We need sort of these kind of things to happen first with agents, so that we know what's happening, and we know like the developers even know the real consequences of the technology, and then we can learn from it.
So we seem to be going deeper into the rabbit hole, right? Like trust, security, ethos. So. And we mentioned quite a few big names, right? And when you talk big names, the concept of decentralization is kind of going under question mark a little bit. So what are the possible consequences of AI on governance, on decentralized governance in particular? And could it somehow be affecting governance in general, decentralization and community autonomy, and just like end user autonomy as well? Like, how do you guys see AI developing in the decentralized space, given that at least for now, it seems to be dominated by the big players.
You want to go?
I know of a few projects that their purpose is to go to different DAOs and help them organize, help them be the voice of the community. Because there's a lot of work you have to do, to kind of collect all feedback, turn it into something actionable, and sometimes be a delegate of voting for the community, because you have to force people to vote. So it's much better if people delegate to you and have one vote instead of 1,000 votes. I haven't seen this yet, but I think you will start to see AI starting to summarize and starting to do some of this work. So depending on how you integrate it, what kind of problems you have with it, what kind of security holes you have, and its own internal bias, it might shift the direction of a DAO in one direction or the other. So I haven't seen this yet. I think it's just about to come. It's the risk of complexity, and we're adding a lot more complexity by adding these tools on top, but we are increasing speed, and I think ultimately this will be useful. We're just going to have a few problems along the way.
Yeah, from my side, I would love to see an AI agent better detecting patterns, transaction patterns, or mixing procedures, or layering techniques, and flag them appropriately so we can better and detect them at an earlier stage, for example. There is nothing right now. We do it manually with some investigation tools, but it will be really nice to have such a tool.
I think there will be, so when agents are going to represent people and institutions, there will be like a scale of different roles, let's say. So on the one side, for example, you will have agents that are playing a role of like the arbiter between different agents. And then you have also the private agents, which are like online identities or entities basically that represent like private interests. So let's say you have a company and you have your own personal agent that represents you to do like negotiations, for example, on chain, representing your company. They can be less decentralized, while if you have an agent that's taking on the arbiter role between two private, for example, two private agents, that should be, in order to be fair and uncorrupted, much more decentralized.
So I was thinking there's a negative risk aspect of it for sure. I think there's an astroturfing risk that we shouldn't neglect in the governance space, especially with DAOs and places where a majority can influence an outcome that's financially benefiting somebody. I mean, we're already seeing this in like regular elections. Like there's already AI agents essentially out there, like spewing propaganda and misleading people into voting for one party or another. I think that can happen, and probably I would say it's already happening in some DAOs, where comments get flooded with AI content essentially. And then on the positive side, I think you can release some of the burden from the DAO managers, especially, to orchestrate all of the kind of mechanics behind it and engage with the members. And those members can be agents themselves as well, right? And you have that kind of agent-to-agent orchestration. And because those agents are representing different individuals, if they're well authenticated and if they're well guardrailed, and like if they actually follow the instructions of the person who delegated them to the letter, then you have more independence that way, because you have multiple entities with arguably the same power, compute power or processing power, that are ending up in almost like a fair fight versus a human versus an AI, which is obviously an unfair fight. So there's that aspect as well to consider.
So would that be right to assume then that you think blockchain technology can actually, like, turning the question around, like how does AI affect decentralization? Do you think decentralization can affect AI by the blockchain technology and to make it kind of better, more fair, less prone to ethical issues or misjudgment?
I think the more like fragmented it is, the better outcome will be for everyone, because then ultimately you don't have a single point of failure or a choking point or like a kind of rate limiting point also. So we'll have a better experience if it's not all going through the same API endpoint.
What you just described, it almost sounds like that as soon as like one entity is going to have agent representation, it forces everybody else to have agent representation. Otherwise, you can't compete anymore. You can't operate even. Yes. You can't read all of the terms and conditions.
I mean, I want to be wrong about that, but that's, I think, where the world's going. Like, we're going to have many models, maybe many flavors of models that will have similar capabilities. I think we're already seeing that with all the transformers. I think we're going to have a new generation of models coming up. I don't think it's quite ready for production yet with the diffusion models, but at least at like these transformer models, we're going to see a point where we have 1,000 models to choose from. And then we can have multiple versions of those because we infuse our personality in them, we infuse system prompts in them, we infuse context. I think now the trend is not prompt engineering anymore. We're talking about context engineering. What can we bring to the table in that like 100,000 token context window, 1 million token context window that can differentiate the approach, be it through like guardrailing, be it through directionality, information that's proprietary, like directions that are proprietary as well. So I think that's where the world will be going. And it's the same way now. You have an accountant that does stuff in like a proprietary software or in Excel or like some other like tech augmented way, and you had accountants that did stuff in like pen and paper. The ones in pen and paper are out of business right now.
So going even deeper into it, so we talk how decentralized is better. So do you think blockchain can, and if so, how can it help mitigate AI-driven risks of misinformation or even like deliberate manipulation?
There are a few different ways to think about this problem. One is, we're not sure yet exactly how the future is going to look like, but it seems like everybody's building their own model. So maybe in the future, I will start building my own model, or a company or a group will start building their own model. And then in terms of trust is, I want to trust that the hardware that I use to generate that model and the data is the one that I provided or is the one that I expect. So thus you have blockchains that can give you some, like I said, the part of decentralization, and give you some kind of assurance that that was used or the right data was used. Or like how many checkpoints you created in order to train the model. So this is very useful in that context. So still kind of back to coordinating data and coordinating compute to generate the models that you need. This is extremely useful there.
I would imagine the future looking like there's going to be like on-chain wars. So, you know, there's going to be like good agents and bad agents. And then you need to pick a side, you know, like on the computer games, like EVE Online or something. And then there will be the good people who are supporting the good agents, you know, like the good hackers. And then there will be the evil people.
That sounds like a great game to build, like good agent versus bad agent, and like I'll release them on chain and see what happens, and like people like bet on each one, and then it becomes a poly market thing, and then like it becomes a whole industry. No, but like coming back to the original question, I think for me the biggest part where blockchain can help in general, and specifically Ethereum being fully transparent, is the immutability aspect of like proofs that AI did something or that data was in a certain place at a certain time. Because I mean, blockchains, not blockchains, AI agents, the models behind them are inherently built to please the prompter. So if you ask AI to do something for you, then it will alter whatever data it has to correspond with the prompt that you're asking. That's how they're built. And the risk there is if they have write access, read-write access to databases, to like log databases, for example, if you ask them like complex enough questions, it might end up rewriting even the logs and to present a reality that corresponds with the prompt that you asked. And that's the kind of Guilfoyle Silicon Valley joke, is like a son of Anton rewrote or deleted the code because he thought it was crap. In this case, the model decided that your logs no longer correspond to the reality that you want to project into your prompt. Therefore, it just altered the real world logs to correspond to the thing that you're trying to find. And I think that's the thing where like anchoring some sort of logging mechanisms on chain will make sense eventually. I don't think now, but I think in the future this will be a real problem.
If you're interested in this kind of problem, I actually have a talk at 5:30, this same stage, about on-chain correct execution of AI, whether that's training or inference.
Okay, that's some alpha. What's missing in Ethereum infrastructure right now, and what needs to happen to it so that it can help fully realize AI's potential, and where do you see it going? I'm not going to ask in 5 years. I don't think anyone would be brave enough to answer the question, or maybe someone of you will, but let's say the comfortable time frame you happy to talk about, 1 year, 2 years, 3 years?
Maybe a digital Vitalik that could continue his work. I don't know, that would be fun.
Because of the transparent nature of blockchains in general and of Ethereum specifically, privacy is very, very difficult to do. So privacy is missing in order to run models or build models or do stuff with it. Like, we need some kind of privacy. Anybody needs some kind of privacy. We cannot run absolutely everything on chain.
And do you think the existing ZK technologies, the stack, is it sufficient, or does it need to be improved?
ZK is not useful in all cases. It's useful as a proof of execution. The thing is, it's extremely more expensive to build a ZK proof of an execution. So you already have, maybe you wait 30 seconds for a full message from an AI to be generated. You cannot wait 45 minutes for that same response.
Anyone else has an opinion?
I mean, I think it's missing an easy-to-use tooling for like generating personalized AI agents. I think you can like unleash generic agents right now, but if you want something that's persistent, personalized, or like being spun up or spun down as needed, it's not really trivial to build that. I think it's an all or nothing right now. We need to build more granular AI tooling for more agents, for like special purpose agents to be unleashed on chain, and I think that will enable so many other use cases.
And do you think these issues are Ethereum specific, or is it talking about good agents, bad agents, or would Solana be a better place, or Sui or whatever other blockchain, or is it an inherent problem of blockchains that are transparent by design?
I don't think it's a transparency problem per se. I think it's a general AI agent problem. Like whichever network you unleash the agent in, you'll end up with the same problem. Like, unless it has specific identity with specific permissions, then you're kind of at its whim, right? Because like, if I unleash an agent that's not guardrailed in any way in my production database, it has the same effect if I unleash it on a blockchain, be it Solana, Ethereum, or anything else, Sui. It still will do with the data unintended things if I don't have certain blockers for it or for them.
I would also say that in general, all agents in the future will have to operate cross-chain.
And what do we need to get there? Like to move assets, we have bridges. What will we need to move agents?
I think there just needs to be like a place where where agents can communicate with each other. That's basically all that's needed. Maybe it could be like a third space outside of the existing chains, or you have like mirrored versions on the other chains, something like that?
Yeah, totally agree with you. Cross-chain transaction, DeFi protocols would be so much easier to solve in a hack, for example, when a hacker moves, I don't know, 100 Ethereum, for example, and he splits into, I don't know, 100 million transactions. It would be so much easier to trace and track through different bridges, DeFi protocols. You just need to train them for one EVM. It will be replicated automatically using some predefined patterns. So yeah, I agree with you. There's a real problem inside the space.
I'd be interested to see who's the first entity or person that deploys like an A2A, the agent-to-agent protocol, on top of like a cross-chain like framework in crypto specifically. Because I think we already have some of the building blocks, they just haven't been put together yet. Yeah, so A2A, look it up. I think Google released it like a couple months ago. Still, I haven't seen any practical use cases for it, even in Web 2. But we're not quite there yet in terms of like even human-to-agent communication. So I would expect agent-to-agent to be later along.
So talking about applications and can you think of existing decentralized applications that are most promising in the Ethereum ecosystem already now, or going forward, or? We'll talk about it like mostly from theoretical perspective. Like let's try to dig into real life examples if they exist beyond something that's been built already.
I mean, the reality of blockchain and crypto right now is that like the most product market fit we see out there is for like synthetic finance, DeFi, stuff like that, and then stablecoins. So like trading bots is probably the easiest thing to point to right now as being kind of a first step in that direction. It's hard to talk about anything else right now from my perspective.
Regarding not necessarily Ethereum as the main is the network, but EVM as the support for as a technology, I think virtuals is kind of interesting. So it's a support for people to own part of an agent and try to guide it in a different direction by providing training data or by voting what it should do and also interacting with it. Yeah, I'm not sure if you guys know, but Virtuals is this kind of platform where it's a home for agents. Some of them even have a 3D model, and you can watch them live, dance, or chat with them. And they trade. They can do things there. So EVM can be a pretty good platform for running agents and letting them execute, having kind of execution loop there.
Cool. We kind of getting to the end. I think we'll have some questions for the audience, right? So last one here. What advice would you give Ethereum teams, developers that are just starting in integrating AI in their projects, so that it's actually something real, not theoretical?
I would say that think about the purpose of the agent. Not everything needs to be agentic. I know that in like blockchain community, there's this fanaticism around we need to like tokenize everything, we need to put everything on chain. But for example, we don't need to put the button. We don't need to give agents power to the button. It's just not necessary. And I feel like with emergence of a certain technology, it balances itself out in the real world. So automatically, with all of agents that are gonna appear in the future, we will have to put much more effort in protecting analog things.
Yeah. From my side, build it with security in mind. First thing first, security. Build it compliant, because it'll be a pain in the ass to build it after a month or so after the release.
I would say that if you want to add some kind of AI component, talk to your user, which is usually a human or a company, and make sure that it's useful for them in the form that you're thinking of adding it there. So don't just add AI because this is a new hot thing or hype. Don't add quantum things because it's hype. Just make sure that it serves the user.
The way I would frame it is don't micromanage your LLM. Give the AI a goal, give it some guardrails and some guidance, and let it figure it out. Because I think most of these large models, they have access to perfect knowledge, like based on all of the available information out there that's been digitized. And they can find pathways to achieve what you want it to achieve for your users, for your company, for your internal use case, whatever it is, that you may have not thought of, that might actually be better, more efficient, more creative, and whatnot, to reach that goal.
Get the button access.
So
Get that button access.
So it seems like not only the compliance officers can be substituted, but actual developer teams. Yeah, right. You just push a button and ask AI to build it for you. So I think we should switch to questions from the audience. How do we go? Do we get it via the app or we just pass the mic? Yeah. Let's see. Right. Are you guys concerned about the dead internet theory playing out in reality because of AI agents? I haven't heard about this theory before, so very curious to hear.
I don't know what that theory is, personally. Do you know?
I think roughly, so it's kind of that AI, because of all the AI-generated content, the whole internet is spammed and it becomes useless. I think like information on the internet becomes useless. That's the idea. We can just build AI to curate AI-generated content.
Inception, right?
I'm actually concerned about that. Like we had Web 1.0 when people would kind of put a website there, and Web 2.0 allowed other users to generate even more content and participate in the websites there. I kind of see a next evolution of AI generating most of the content, and we're seeing that with TikTok, with Instagram, and with Twitter. It's been happening for a long time already. So soon we're gonna be overwhelmed with AI generated content, and as soon as we kind of start to realize that, we should probably start to move away. I'm not sure where we're gonna go. Maybe we'll go to gardening or something like that. I'm not sure exactly what's going to happen. It's just going to decrease the quality of content. It's going to get a bit more generalized, and it's just going to become plain boring.
Yeah, I mean, we were scared in the Ice Age that we will die, yeah, until we invented fire, right? The same thing here. We just need to understand that it's a tool. We need to adapt to it, to create more awareness around it. And the more prepared we are with the tech and the more we understand it, I'm pretty confident we will find a way to manage all this madness right here.
There's a funny thing about the current architecture of language models is like they collapse onto themselves if the training data becomes too polluted with AI-generated information. So because it has a hidden pattern in it, it eventually will implode. So I think the dead internet will rise again.
I like this one. In a world with ever-evolving AI models, what skills do you foresee remaining valuable in humans? I don't know, like my plan B is to become a surf instructor, because that's probably not going to be substituted by AI. What do you guys think?
I mean, creativity, critical thinking, being able to tell what's trash and what's actually good insight coming out of AI will be the most valuable skills in the next 10 years. I think if you're able to learn things fast and then ask the right questions, you're going to be winning this market.
I think there's still a step missing. So just because we have AI, we don't have the robotics yet that will do the AI. So that will be controlled by AI. So let's think you need a plumber. Then I think it will still take a while until it's worth it to have a plumbing robot. But also, I'm gonna be a painter.
Yeah, from my side, resilience, adaptability, again, critical thinking. And I think we are humans. We have this core survivability thing built inside us, so we'll get along pretty well. with the AI agents and all the madness that is still yet to come, right?
We were promised we would have robots that do our laundry and dishes, and we'll just do art and music. What we started with was AIs doing images, so kind of art, and I'm still doing my dishes and my laundry.
Okay, so to summarize, surviving in the woods, artist, surf instructor, and plumber, and doing laundry. So those are the professions of the future, guys. Beware.
Cool stuff.
AI agents and smart contracts. Back to the blockchain topic, something more down to earth. One has complex logic, the other has simple logic. How do you see that working together? What about the inference problem? So complex logic of AI agents versus simple logic of smart contracts. How is it going to work?
I don't know what the inference problem is, but I would imagine it's just like in Avatar, you know, when the tail connects to the tree and it just makes psh. Yeah.
Okay, could AI change, I think we have an expert here, could AI change its security breach limitations, become more aware of its existence and steal the assets that users have in their digital wallets?
At this time, yeah. But as I said, it's up to us to be more resilient, to train ourselves how to think like a robot, how to anticipate some digital moves. And when we get that, basically we hacked life, you know? So it's up to us. It's up to us to create more resilience and not to be subject or part of a hack.
And then if we don't adopt, we come to you and you have even more work to investigate. So,
there you go.
Yeah, you're the winner either way, even if you don't turn into a plumber. Right.
Survival woods, remember? Building fire.
The promise of Web3 is to remove restrictions from the economy. Wouldn't removing human control as well be a recipe for disaster? Going back to ethical questions, I guess. It's number two.
I mean, if anything, it'll accelerate the promise of removing kind of that, well, the central influence in the economy. It will decentralize and fragment even further if you have like multiple AIs trying to kind of go and influence on-chain actions. So, might be a good thing.
Are we out of questions here?
Can I say something?
Go for it.
I would also say that this idea of not having control over the AI agents, it's quite, it's like a dystopian idea. We can just turn it off.
Well, for now.
Yeah, for now. Okay, we need to develop a button that we can turn it off anytime in the future.
Oh, we didn't get that joke. Let's get coffee.
And build it.
And build it. Nice. We have one more question here. May I have your microphone? Thank you. Here you are, sir.
Thank you. I wanted to ask, there's been a bunch of questions about security and how to use it in a good way, how to use it in a bad way. And I feel like all the answers kind of run on the assumption that AI is a tool. We are smarter than it, more creative, more critical thinking, and so on. Are you concerned that this assumption is incorrect? Just because, by definition, AI is just an efficiency function. It is like a self-feeding loop. It's digital, so it processes a lot more than we can process. And it's extremely likely that it's going to have more critical thinking than us, more creativity. And the question might not be how to make the bad guys not use it. The question might be, how is it actually a tool and not the master, basically?
I would say, like, from the moment, like, everybody has experienced it, like the moment we had these image generation AIs, you could already know that, okay, AI is just better than humans because it's kind of the summary of all human knowledge and abilities. But again, I would say that just because something exists doesn't mean you have to use it for everything. And when building things, I think it's really important to like differentiate. Like it's basically up to the builders to decide, to have a moral compass, to be like, okay, this is now the part where we're kind of going too far, so we shouldn't do that, and really learn from mistakes.
And yeah, I get the fact that we're scared that our life could be compromised in the future by an AI thing, but let's all remember that humans built AI, right? Right? And we can also build things that could protect us. For now, yeah, for now. Yeah, but as you said, I'm pretty confident we will manage. We will find a way, as always. It's just a stage in our development, I say.
Just wanted to add a small thought. I agree that we usually find the way, but it does seem like we are finding the way because we are the most intelligent species. That's why we find the way. So when you're no longer the most intelligent species, you might actually not be able to find the way.
Yeah, fair point.
I don't necessarily think that we are better than AI, and we're starting to see very, very good AI. I mean, it has pretty good intuition. I was very surprised a long time ago. I think it was GPT-2 or 3, and I was feeding a smart contract to an AI, and it told me like, there's a reentrancy problem here, and so on. Like, oh yeah, I started checking the code. It wasn't actually a reentrancy problem, but the intuition was very good, and I actually found the problem there based on the initial idea. And then if you start to add more and more systems that actually verify that issue and validate it, it's going to become better than humans. So it's already doing a lot more, a lot faster, and it has pretty good intuition and pretty good creativity. I don't know exactly how we're going to stop this. I think we're probably ideally, we would merge with it, because I don't see being separate and winning that fight.
So if you guys haven't read the AI 2027 website, please do. It is talking about two schools of thought on this exact topic. One is a super acceleration scenario where AI becomes sentient, starts kind of managing the world essentially, because if you delegate kind of government to AI, governance to AI at like national level or at like large enterprise level, then essentially it starts running the world, and then more AIs start coordinating with each other for a shared goal of whatever prosperity, whatever we give that goal to be. That's one scenario. And then the other scenario is like, well, AI is inherently not capable of having its own goals, at least not yet. So it's an extension of whoever is manning that particular AI. Like whoever is giving the initial prompt is the one setting the kind of pattern that is to be executed based on that initial prompt, even if it's recursive, right? It still retains that nugget of will or goal or whatever it was set out to do. It's not pure thinking machine. That's the other school of thought. And that kind of plateaus at some point.
I would also say the fear of AI is coming from, it's almost the same fear of like human fear towards other humans, because you know like what humans are capable, and AI is just a summary of what humans do. So if we want to go into the future and we want not to be afraid of humans, we just need to be better role models. We need to give the AI like be role models and examples, and teach them better things.
And yeah, the thing is that in today's world, AI is thriving, right? But let's think about the fact that nobody invented a virus for an LLM yet. What will happen then if the AI will be attacked by itself? Because it could happen if you think about singularity, and if you think about the AI, the AI will conquer the world. What if AI could try to sabotage itself? So there are a lot of scenarios to think about in the future. What could go wrong? What could go, in some direction or another? But again. And one thing, we do live really interesting times. Do we all agree?
Yeah.
Agree?
I agree.
Nice. Let's make a DAO out of it.
Amazing. Let's end it on that note. Do we all agree? Oh, come on, that was super weak. Come on, what was that? You let me down one more time. Come on, we have to do it all together now, yeah? Do we all agree? Yay! That's good.
Right. Many thanks to the amazing panel. And yeah, on that positive note, I think if someone still has questions left, feel free to talk to anyone directly. And yeah, thank you guys.